All right, everyone, we are here with a very, very special guest. We are joined by Ariana Madix. Her new book is out now, Single AF Cocktails. You all know her from Vanderpump Rules, most recently Dancing with the Stars. Congratulations.
Thank you.
An incredible run on Dancing with the Stars.
Thank
We
you.
were rooting for you the entire time, and we were just telling you that we got to see you in person. So
yeah,
it was
Whitney
so cool.
Houston night.
Whitney Houston night. You looked amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're super excited to talk with you. You have so much going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's like all amazing stuff.
It's
like
great.
The
yeah.
book, Dance with the Stars just ended. You made it to the finale. You just made a huge announcement about Broadway.
You're going to be on Broadway?
How are you feeling right now?
I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm very excited, but I'm also like very terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like sometimes I'm like, why did I do all this to myself? Like all at the same time.
Right.
You know?
I saw you were quoted in the media being like, yeah, I'm not really sure why I decided to have my book release date be like the same exact time as the Dancing with the Stars finale.
Yeah. It's like at the time I was like, that's probably a good day to do it. And then I was like, why did I do this?
Does it kind of feel just like the adrenaline is pushing you through though? It's like, go, go, go. You don't have a chance to go, stop, go, stop. It's like everything's coming at once, so you just have to do it.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that for sure.
And you announced you're going to be playing Roxy Hart in Chicago
Yes.
on Broadway. That has been like a dream of yours forever, right?
Yeah, like I was a theater major. I was a theater kid. I moved here after college to try to, have a career in theater. And then that's kind of like around the time that people who had made names for themselves in other things were starting to like really be cast as things on Broadway. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's probably not going to happen for me. And then I was like, well, if I ever want to do this, I probably have to move to LA and like have TV jobs and stuff. Right. So that's what I did. And then it's like 13 years after moving to LA, now there's this opportunity. So it's just one of those things where the hustle and the grind just never stops, and then eventually at some point something happens.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Circle.
Literally, like so
It's
cool
wild.
to be on Broadway, and especially I feel like now. Do you think Dancing with the Stars has now prepared you for that a little bit?
Oh, for sure. Like the insane rehearsal schedule and like understanding like exactly like kind of like what my body's going to be put through and what it's going to be like to have to be like so immersed and so dedicated in something like that. I feel like it has been like it's like a boot camp.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It was a lot of weeks of boot camp. That's for sure. And I also think it's interesting too, because people know you really like from Vanderpump, right? And then now you have this background, which I think people are learning, which is really cool. So like, what was theater? When did you want to get into theater? Like, how young were you when you were like, this is what I want to do?
I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I did, I feel like a lot of us did. Number one, I was a horse girl.
Yep.
Big horse girl energy.
I was as well.
Okay, great.
I've never ridden a horse in my life.
I was as well, yes.
Yeah. So there was that.
Yep.
And then I also, as like a really little kid, was in like the little kid like dance classes and stuff like that. And I just really liked performing. And then it was like, my high school drama department, all of that. And like, I just got more and more into it. And I feel like, so it was like really since I was a little kid that I just like wanted to be on stage, or if I wasn't like in the living room putting on little random performances for my parents, then I like really wanted to be on stage. Just razzle dazzle.
Yeah. I mean, Dancing with the Stars coming in was probably the best case scenario then for you to like get those reps in and for all those eyeballs, like everybody
for sure
watches and sees, and you were just so great.
Yeah, and
amazing.
It's good too because I think for good reason, it makes sense. A lot of people being like, oh, well, she only got this or that because of this thing that happened in the media earlier in the year. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Maybe that got the eyeballs or maybe that initially got the attention on it. But I'm going to, while I'm there, prove to you that I deserve to be there.
You have to be good.
And so you have to be.
Yeah.
And so that was where I was like, all right, well, I'm ready to do the work because, I could have, I think anybody could be like, okay, cool. And I'll just do this thing and then I'll not really take it serious. But I was like, I'm going to be so fucking serious about this.
Yeah. And it like doesn't, of course you're not going to show up every night and go, by the way, I, trained for this for years of my life when I was younger.
Sure, yeah.
But it doesn't discredit all the work you put in when you were growing up. Like you did put all that work in, and it's just happening years later.
Exactly. And I think it's so true. It happens for so many. I think that's just like what happens, right? Is like people just, you accept odd jobs, you do different things to survive, you do different things to try to get to where you want to be. And then like also as a girl in the entertainment industry, like at 38 is kind of like, okay, well, that maybe that wasn't the path. Maybe the path was to the way that things played out. Maybe that's how it was supposed to happen. The bartending as a survival job led me to the amazing reality show where I'm bartending and that's happening. And then there's the cocktail world, right? So I was like really leaning into that, kind of thinking that the rest of it was just like not, I'm too old. It's not really going to happen. If I haven't made any sort of break, it's not going to happen. So then it's like just crazy.
Right. What I love lately is how a ton of women are talking about how, there's just this stigma where it's like, oh, once you reach a certain age, I think Taylor Swift recently said it in the Time article, it's like once you reach like 29, you're kind of like tossed out into the trash, and then you're in your 30s and people think you can't do anything. But now we are seeing so many women talk about like, oh, I didn't find what I really love to do, or like my passion didn't really happen
who
until
I really am.
Or it didn't really
totally.
didn't really happen until later in life, or you discover new versions of yourself as life goes on. Like it doesn't just stop at a certain age. Like you can become somebody new or find a new version of yourself later on, which I think is amazing.
I love it. It's like the Eras tour, but like life.
Exactly.
So true.
And we have this book here that, it's released at this crazy time. We were looking through it. The pictures are amazing. The cocktails are so much fun. And I love how there's, little anecdotes in there about your life and your past relationship. But it's for bad bitches. So, move forward and make yourself a cocktail.
Exactly. Have a cocktail. Maybe there's something that like people hopefully can take away or relate to. Because for me, it was like really therapeutic and cathartic to kind of go through and fill it out with all these stories and recipes. So I feel like hopefully that can be a shared experience for anybody.
Absolutely.
How long has the book been in the works?
Since I would say like end of March, April. Yeah, it was quick. It's a quick turnaround, because for it to have like a December release date.
Right, that's pretty impressive, especially for publishing.
Yeah, it was a grind.
And I mean, there's a lot of cocktails in there.
60,
There is a ton of cocktails. Where do you get your cocktail inspiration from?
Drinking.
Just testing out.
Taste testing.
Taste testing. When I'm traveling and I'm like, ooh, what's this place? Or sometimes just thinking like, would that be weird to put together, or would it be good? And then just testing it out type of thing. Yeah.
And I feel like you do get to flex some creative juices there too.
I love it all.
They all have unique names.
My last
and they all
word.
they all match you.
Yeah, I was definitely trying to, because like, so with Taylor or Beyonce or Kelly, all these amazing artists that have music as their creative passion, they channel what they're feeling, what they're going through into lyrics and music. And I don't know how to write music, so I know how to make cocktails. So that's kind of where all of that creativity went.
I love it.
And the photos too, like Rhea
so
said, are
stunning.
so
I
good.
mean, the Revenge Dress one.
Doggy.
Unbelievable. What was the shoot like? I saw some people on social media talking about maybe a little Lemonade era photos in there.
Yeah, there's an homage to Beyonce in there, because that album, there it is. That album is so inspirational to me, and in no way, shape, or form could I ever be Beyonce. But I'm like, hey, just so you know, I love you. So
no, if you get to have that opportunity to take that baseball bat, and
I was like, listen, that woman, her music has gotten me through so much. But that the shoot total was 5 days, and all the pictures with me in them were 3 days of the 5.
It's so good. Do you find it hard to, because now you have all these really cool and exciting things happening, right? Dancing with the Stars, you're going to be on Broadway. The book is amazing, but in the book, you are talking about your past relationship. The new season of Vanderpump Rules premieres in January. We've all seen the trailer. Do you you're stepping into this new chapter of your life. Do you find it hard to have to relive these moments kind of over and over again when you wish you can go like, let's just move past this?
Yeah, it's tough because I think also online so many people are like, we're over it. And I'm like, well, it was filmed.
Yeah.
Like the season is filmed and then it doesn't come out for another many, many months. So it's going to be like what's in the new season is going to be like going back in time a lot. So it's going to be tough for sure. And yeah, it's like you, in a way, want to move past or be like, okay, I've said what I can say, how I feel, and then have it just be gone. But yeah, it's just the nature of being on a show like that. I'm glad that I'll be busy in January.
Right. Yeah, that is so true. It's the ultimate distraction. Yeah, because it's true. Like, right, Winter House is on right now, and they're like, oh, it's been a week since this all broke, and we're watching it now. So it does take some time. And not only that, but you also were doing Dancing with the Stars. You went to BravoCon. You did all these things. You were having all these moments happening all at the same time. How were you balancing, like, mentally going back and forth from Dancing with the Stars, like, I'm training, I'm on the show, to like, oh God, I have to go be like Ariana from Vanderpump?
Yeah, I was definitely conserving my energy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go out. I didn't even go to like dinners or anything. Because I was just like, I just have to like really conserve. And then because I also really wanted to like meet as many fans of Bravo as possible and like take as many pictures. So it was like outside of that, it was like there's like a picture of me like I passed out in like the break room at Bravo. Just trying to keep it together, and just looking at it and going like, okay, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. So if I go out too hard, or BravoCon is always such a party.
And I mean, it was in
I
Vegas.
kind of was bummed out. Yeah, and I was like kind of bummed that I didn't get to really like party with all my Bravo friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just knowing that dancing is only going to be this short 3 months, and I would be mad at myself if I fucked it up.
Yeah, and you commented on, somebody had wrote something on the trailer about this new season, and that like people could maybe feel bad for he who must not be named, Voldemort, and you were like, you commented, you were like, I wouldn't be surprised if it did go that way. So how are you feeling about the new season coming out and like public perception?
Well, it's like I haven't seen any of it. I only know what I lived, and I just know, I mean, I don't want to shortchange anybody watching the show. I'm sure that they will totally be understanding and know what the deal is of like what it was like. I just know that, oftentimes when women set boundaries or when women are angry or feeling a certain way, that it's not always received well. And so I was not holding back with how I felt at that time. And so I think that people might not like it because in January, they're going to be like, well, why isn't she over it? And it's like, and why isn't she being like nice and cordial and making everyone else happy? And it's like, well, in May and June, I wasn't about to make anyone else feel more comfortable. It was about me at that moment.
And they made you feel really uncomfortable. So it's like, and like you said, and sometimes do you get a little frustrated where it's like the public, you're like, how don't you get it? Like, it was not filmed in January. It was filmed pretty shortly after. Like, just try and remember that and think about that when it comes out. We also saw at BravoCon, you kept your cool and you looked amazing, and I felt like during the panels you kept your cool and you had great answers. But we saw, people were like, oh, how do you feel about Sheena hanging out with, and then it was brought up on stage, and then James accused Lala, and things were like picking up steam there. How did you feel in that moment? And I'm sure you're good with everybody besides certain people, because we see you guys are like best friends all the time.
Yeah, me and Sheena we're good. In the moment, it was like I found out about it without having seen her or talked to her, and I didn't know what was going on or being talked about. So when they asked, I was like, well, that's weird. I think that was kind of, and then it was the James thing. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that was crazy in that panel. But yeah, I mean, I'm never going to tell anybody what to do or how to act or who to talk to or any of that. I'm just going to do what I can, and all I can do is control what I do.
Yep.
So it's like, if I'm going to protect my peace, and if that means sometimes like removing myself from a situation, or if I'm uncomfortable, then but yeah, it was a whole thing. And then I was like, well, I haven't even talked to her yet. Like,
right. And you also, I feel like, don't want to tell people what to do, because then their true colors are revealed, right? It's like they're going to do what they want to do, and then you can figure out a true friend as well.
And then you also don't want to be somebody who's like, I don't like when someone's like, well, I'm doing this for her or for this person. I'm like, if you want to do something, maybe just do it for you.
Right.
And then,
like, don't pity me.
Like I don't want to be like, oh, like, and then it's almost like if a guy was like, oh, I can't give you my number because I have a girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't say you can't.
Right. It's like, I don't want to because I
so you don't want
girlfriend.
to. Like, if you say you can't, it makes it sound like,
oh no, I can't.
Really wish you could.
Like when I can't. I have a boyfriend. It's like, no, I don't want to.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Raquel, Rachel did not come back for this season. Was everyone like okay with that, or did they think they wanted it to happen? How did you feel about her not coming back?
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like,
I don't think I would.
Right. That's what we said too. I was like, probably better to
especially after the reunion, and also just like go figure out yourself.
Yeah.
And now a new podcast is coming in January.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, everyone just.
I was thinking like New Year, we like don't, you know what I mean? Like don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess not.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So Dancing with the Stars was incredible. You made it to the finale.
Yeah.
You finished in third, which is so impressive. How
it's like one hair that's
battling this character having a battle. What was the toll that this show took on you? Because you love watching it, and it seems like such a fun, lighthearted show.
Yeah.
And it is. It totally is, but like it is taxing.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now that it's over? Like, how does your body feel? I know you had some injuries.
Yeah. My foot is still like royally fucked up. And I didn't want that to be, I really didn't want that to be like the narrative of the season. Cause I was like, on that stage, like I don't feel anything because of the adrenaline and everything. Towards the end, it started to get pretty bad on the foot. And it was since like week 2. And it would go in and out. And then after I did the jive, it was like, no, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
And I've yet to get an x-ray or an MRI, but eventually I will, and I'll find out like what exactly is wrong with it. But yeah, it is super taxing on the body. I mean, not just me.
Right.
I wasn't the only one with injuries. I mean, I think pretty much everybody at some point was dealing with something. And it's just because it's so grueling. And at the same time, it's like so worth it, and it's so rewarding because you're just like, wow, my body is actually capable of all of this stuff.
Right. And also crazy. Not used to it, and that's probably where the injuries happen.
Yes, because like, for example, I have really narrow feet and really high arches, and it was a real struggle. And this is, I think, where it all came into play in the beginning. It was a real struggle to find shoes that fit. So I was practicing for hours and hours in shoes that were like not quite right. And so there was a lot of like balance, like trying to figure out the fit. And the right foot is slightly smaller than the left. Well, I learned why. Because the right arch is actually more pulled up. So I had to start doing all these exercises to try to get it to like relax. And then the like literally things that you would never know if you weren't doing something like that, because you're just, it's just never a thing you would ever you would never need to figure out.
Right. Everyone says the show is like a big family.
Yeah.
Who did you connect with the most while you were doing it?
Well,
Besides your partner.
yeah, I was
obviously.
gonna say aside my partner and his wife Danny, the two of them are just incredible. I mean, everybody really, but Coco, one of the pros, she was so amazing. Peta, so sweet. Sasha Farber, incredible. Alan and Brandon, they were so not like literally. I'm gonna end up naming.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna
The
happen.
entire cast.
Yeah, all the celebs like Lele, absolutely like so much with her. Allison and Jason, Sochi, like she's just like this. Oh my gosh, I'm like, how are you doing this at 17? I do not understand how you're capable of like all this amazing stuff.
When we saw it, like Allison made me cry that night.
Yeah.
She was just
Yeah,
so
she
good. I
was
was so happy for her.
And then Charity, I was like blown away by her doing all these stunts in the finale.
Yeah.
Like honestly, just and everyone in the costume department, everyone on the crew. There's people that work on that show for like have been on the show since like the first season, and it's because like people love working there, so they just don't leave.
Right.
I feel
amazing.
like going to Dancing with the Stars, you learned, because there's some places that you show up and you're like, oh, this looks a little different than it does on TV. But showing up there, it was like, oh my God, the ballroom is like the ballroom.
Yeah.
And it's
I was like
as big as it seems on TV.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a huge Dance with the Stars fan. This was like a bucket list moment to go. I was so excited, and Rhea was like, "Go out on the floor. I'll take a
touch
picture.
it.
Take
Yeah.
a picture
Yeah,
of
she was
you."
like, "Come on."
She was like, I was like, "Oh my God, I can't go on the floor."
I was like, you could touch the floor. I was like, if anything,
She's like,
they're
there are
just
other
gonna yell
people
at
out
you.
there taking pictures. I'm like, go do it. I was like, oh my God, I'm so. I can't go out there.
The worst thing they're gonna do is tell you get off.
Yeah.
They're gonna tell you to leave.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, we had an amazing time. Did you have a favorite week?
I mean, I loved Motown Week because I love all
That's
the
always
music, and I loved music video. You know, the toughest thing is that like each week that had a theme, it's like each theme there's so many different options of like amazing songs that you could possibly like use or dance to, and especially in the beginning when you haven't done that many dance styles yet. So it's like so hard in the beginning to be like narrowing things down because like Motown, it's like, oh my God, like how
There's
many amazing
so
songs.
many great songs. It's like,
And then
how do we
like
just pick
music
one?
video, another one of my options or like ideas that I wanted to do was like Telephone, Gaga and Beyonce.
Oh my God, I was obsessed.
Yeah, because
with
that video is so
when
iconic.
it first came out. Obsessed.
But then it was like, okay, but I will fight tooth and nail to be the one that does Britney. So then it was like, okay. But yeah, like that was just the Motown, the music video. I think those were my favorite.
When did you? And did it happen to at any point think like, okay, now I actually feel like I could win this? Like, was there?
I think it was. I think it was when we got. Like it was either our first 10 or it was like when we got Whitney Houston the night you guys were there. We got like almost a perfect score. I was like, oh shit, like, you know, maybe because my whole thing was that like I really wanted to make it to the finals because I didn't want to have FOMO. Like I didn't want to be like, oh, I didn't get to do this or that. Like I just wanted to be able to do all the dances and then be like, okay, you know, now like that was the win for me, was like the finals. And so when that happened, I was like, oh, I think maybe we can make it to the finals. And then like, you know, then we'll get to do all the dances.
Right. What was going through your mind that night of the semifinal when it was you and Sochi?
Oh my God.
And I honestly, like I was on my couch like this can't be it.
Yeah.
I was like, they cannot be. It cannot be down between to the two of them.
There's no way these two are in the bottom two. There's just no way. I was like, I think they played this up to make it as dramatic as possible.
Well, the thing is that they had planned it. And so there was no bottom two. I think they were just tabulating votes and then they were going to use them for the next week for the finals, you know? But like, we didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think there were like 3 people who knew, like so many people on production didn't even know. And so like, it was crazy. And I said to Sochi, I was like, we're literally years from now going to be like, remember that time that we were just like so emotionally traumatized?
Yeah. They really did traumatize you because you were, in that moment you thought that you guys were in the bottom. I was like, there's just no way those two were in the
and
bottom
then
two.
I thought for sure I'm going home because we both had good scores or whatever, but like, I just feel like she has like the weight when it comes to votes just solely votes.
Right.
Like scores, she kills it.
Yeah.
We had good scores too, but then it was like the votes though, I don't know. She has the weight of like so many young people watching the show that are probably voting like crazy. And I feel like because I'm older, like I just don't know if that's really
right.
And people always
Harry
get in your
effect.
head. Right. Well, and people always get in your head as a Bravo person, and they're like, Bravo people never do that well. They
Right.
like get in your head, and you start thinking that, and you're like, oh shit. Well, you know.
Yep.
I was like, this is
No,
it.
I think
And then I
people
just thought
were
like
banding together
we
for
went
you.
on out a good note. But then it was like there's a picture of us like running to each other on the stage because we were both just like could not believe.
I know.
that
I
just
couldn't believe they
happened.
did that to you guys. That
was
I mean,
It was
they-
so mean. I was
even
like afterwards, I was
even
like, I
us-
love you guys, but I also hate you right
Yes,
now.
it's a little fucked up. It is.
Yeah.
When you first joined Vanderpump Rules, and you said you moved out to LA and you had a dream, and you were like, I got to go to LA, figure this out, and you joined Vanderpump Rules, and you started doing it for a couple of years. Did you kind of put all of this to the side and go, okay, now I'm on reality TV. I'm not gonna be on Broadway. I'm not gonna do Dancing with the Stars. Was that a thought that you had?
Yeah, like I had in the back of my head, I think about Jamie Chung, who was on Real World, and she's like been someone who I always looked at years and at this time, and I was like, well, she was able to still do acting stuff, but my boyfriend that I was with right before, like in the first like 2 seasons of Vanderpump, around that time, who was awful for so many reasons, but one of the things is he was so discouraging about reality TV because I had Sheena was like, come film, because we were working together at Villa Blanca then, and she was like, I have no girlfriends on the show, like you should film. And then he would say like really derogatory things about reality TV in general, and also reality TV when it came to like acting and stuff. And so I totally had that in my head of like, okay, well, that was obviously like before, and then once I agreed, I was like, all right, well, I've made my bed. Maybe someday something can happen, but probably not.
Right. And times have changed so much with reality TV.
Yeah.
I think that maybe was a thought with people then when it was like really picking up.
Yeah.
But now it's like there's so many reality TV shows.
Yeah.
And the eyeballs that it places on so many people where it's like, well, this person's very talented and this person's and it can't be that their only talent is being on reality TV. They're good at something.
Yeah. Well, and what's crazy is like when I was living in LA and I was going out for auditions for, like pilot season and, for guest stars and co-stars on TV shows, when it came to like the bigger parts, there would be so many times where they would be auditioning, but they would already have an offer out to somebody who was a name.
Right. Of course.
And it was all about, they need a name, because when the press release comes out of who's the cast of the show, if it's some unknown person no one's ever heard of before, are they going to get the ratings? Are they going to get the following that person brings built in? And so it's like, okay, well, how do I become a name if I can't ever book parts? And it's like, well,
exactly.
Maybe it's reality TV.
Right,
Who
right.
knows? It's wild.
And then you see the show come out and like Dakota Fanning got it.
No, literally, for me, it was always Ashley Tisdale. Like almost always Ashley Tisdale or Allie and AJ.
right.
Allie,
Yeah.
It was always, or it was the one girl who was in, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna remember her name, but yeah, it was always like
So funny. It's always the collect few. You just every
and
time.
I'd be like, there it is again.
Yep. There she comes again. So now you're gonna go into Broadway prep, I'm sure. Like, what is your home life been like in LA? Like, are you going to be living in New York? Are you still in your house in LA? But you're going to be here all the time now, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I still co-own 50-50 my house with
Baltimore.
Yeah.
during dancing, I was staying somewhere else because it was just such a hectic, insane schedule. And I had physical therapists like that I was trying to have, and my mom or a friend or, my boyfriend would come and it's like,
By the way,
boy,
your
I can't
friends, unbelievable.
They're the best.
They're the best.
The energy they brought
Yeah.
on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Like especially when you being there is so different. When we were there and they were up, standing,
During the
cheering,
judges.
Oh, my friend
screaming.
Dexter was
Oh my
like,
God.
"That's right."
Yeah. if one judge said something a little, they'd be like, "Boo!"
Right, it was so good. And watching your boyfriend's face, watching you dance
my
was so
gosh.
nice to see too. Of course, like
He's
you just
so
want somebody who's
sweet.
so
Yeah.
supportive like that. And
Yeah.
it was great to see.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been staying somewhere else, but the house stuff is definitely something that I'm like actively trying to figure out. The problem is that when you are co-owners of a property, you have to both agree on what
Right.
to do with it.
Right.
Or someone has to budge or
Yeah.
cave. So it's like,
Right. I'm sensing
I want to sell
there's-
it. I've wanted to sell it
We were
since
at a
day one.
stalemate.
Right. So you want to sell it, counterpart does not want to sell it.
No.
Yeah.
I know you maybe don't know the answer, but just why not? Like you're being crazy. Like I want to
Well,
say
he's
a
living
list
in-
of words, but
he's living in
selfish
there, no
and-
problem.
and all these things. But like that's insanity to me.
I don't
Just
understand why he doesn't want to
fucking
sell it. I want to
sell
sell
it.
it. Yeah.
the common answer would be let's just sell this and move on.
That's what I'm saying.
Go get something new.
That's right. So there's that.
Yep.
But yes, I will be
In New York a lot
living
now.
here
Yeah.
for 3 months essentially.
Are you excited about that?
Yeah. The only thing is though is it's January to March.
Yeah, that's true.
right.
Maybe
It's
the
cold.
worst month.
Yeah, so
cold months
weather-wise.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The post Christmas.
Right. It's not even like December where
It's
you get
not
the Christmas.
cute winter.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's
gray
shit
winter.
winter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, but you'll still have fun and enjoy
Yeah.
it.
And I'm just gonna go, I don't even know if I still have winter stuff. I'm gonna go purchase the biggest. If you see me walking around in New York, I will be wearing the biggest, puffiest puffer coat you've ever seen.
Aritzia has 'em.
Yes, like I want to be comically large on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Last
If someone hits you, they bounce off you.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yep.
Last thing I want to ask about is there an update about something about her? I know you must get tired of people asking like, when is
Well,
it
it
coming?
just sucks because it's like the updates are so boring.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why we're not like constantly updating people because it's literally like the update is that we just finally got another email from the health department so they can send another inspector over.
right.
It's very like
The gas guy just came. We're good.
No, it's literally like the fire department came over and said, okay, yeah, the hood looks good. It's stuff like that. So it is very boring updates, but we're really
We're still
hoping
in
we
the
open
same
soon. Yeah.
location, and that's
Location, and we have our ABC license out or application out, and it's so beautiful inside. I really can't wait for people to be able to come and for us to be open.
Yeah.
We have a beautiful menu that's ready to go.
The sandwiches sound so good.
Yeah, and I'm very excited. I know Katie's really excited, and I know that we lose sleep over this stuff like constantly, and we really just are so ready to have it be there and have people be able to come. So yeah,
It'll happen. And actually,
It'll
maybe
happen.
it's a good thing that it's not happening right now when you're about to be moving to New York. And
sure. I'll still be,
Right, of course.
on my Zooms, on my emails,
Yeah.
but and I'll be there for sure as much as possible. But yeah, it's gonna be really great once that's
It really is. I think people are gonna love it. I mean, just the sound of the sandwich. I know I said it before, but just the sound of the sandwich is like, when we're in LA, we always have our spots that we will go to, and I'm like, last time we were there, I was like, I really wish this was open because I just want to try one of those sandwiches.
Just want a good sandwich.
Yeah.
Just want a good sandwich.
No, but it's going to be great. And thank you so much for joining us today. We've
Thanks for
been
having me.
wanting you to come in. We
Yes.
were so excited about you being here.
Thank you.
And the book, Single AF Cocktails, you can purchase. What an amazing holiday gift. You obviously, it comes out at this time of year for a reason. Perfect gift to give somebody who maybe wants to get into some good cocktail making.
So creative.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Thanks.
And you can buy that
anywhere
you buy your
books.
books, which is great. Oh my God, it's
just
even
so
just the
good.
cover. It's just,
And the back too.
I know, it's just so good. Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Ariana.
Thank you.